Hello, I'm Benny Westside, and today I'm back with Cleaning Agent, and we're ready to talk Loki Season 2, Episode 3.
Yeah, we
Hey,
are.
Cleaning Agent.
Benny, how are you? I love just floating in the air with you, my friend.
I love it.
Benny has designed all of these cool, what do you even call these? Backsplashes or
Overlay?
something? Overlays. I'm just a guy that puts them on the screen, but Benny's doing all the hard work. So if you like these, give Benny all the compliments and give me nothing. All right. Do we just jump into the episode? How do you want to run it today, Benny?
Sure. Let's give a quick recap.
Okay.
What happened was, at the end of the last episode, the MacGuffin is like an event. The time threads are overfilling the time loom, so they need the essence of Kang, basically, and
to,
they're
to
trying to
unlock
find
it
a
or
Kang.
something. Yeah, yeah. So they can
Yeah,
repair it or whatever.
exactly. And much like last episode where they said, you know what, this hunter is so good
Oh yeah.
that before retiring he must have found Sylvie. They say, you know what? I'm sure Miss Minutes and Ravona must have found Kang. So they like try to find their time signature or whatever, like their blips, their door openings, and they find Kang.
Yeah, I love off I'm just gonna have to jump in here right off the get because uh I love how it's like there's no search. They're just like, oh, they jumped into this time. We can see it clearly on our diagnosis here. Let's just go there and we will be right exactly where we need to be anytime we need to be there. Just the thrill of the chase is gone in this show.
I have one thing to say about it. Super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Okay. Before I start just raking this episode against across the coals, in the last two episodes we asked a simple question. Let's ask that question right now before we get too far into this. Benny Westside, did you like the episode?
I had fun watching the episode. I don't know if it was. I don't know. I don't think I liked it that much. I liked it better than the first episode, but I can't say I loved it.
Yeah, I'm still going downward slope here. I think I didn't like this episode either.
To me, I don't know if this is like. I don't know if it's not praise, but I don't know if it's too much of a criticism either. It felt like an episode of Legends of Tomorrow. If you ever watched that
No,
from
sure
DC,
didn't.
it was this episode, but just as a whole show. It
Right,
gets goofier and goofier.
right, okay. I That's fair. That's understandable. I mean, here's the thing that I'm looking at right now is we are officially halfway through this season, right? And what have we actually done? What?
Nothing.
There's nothing's happened yet, man, really, of any real valid merit of anything.
Yeah,
Except for, I guess, at the end of this episode, well, at the beginning of this episode, we do find a Kang variant. That's what we found so far.
yeah.
For the most part. Story wise, that's it. But okay. Now that we know neither of us really loved it, let's talk about the episode itself and maybe why we didn't enjoy it that much, or if there was any redeeming qualities that we did enjoy, because we should try to see some
Sure.
positive side of things too.
So what happens is Ravona and uh, Miss Minutes meet up in 1800s Chicago. They find a child king. His name is Victor, and they give him Ouroboros's journal, which I thought was interesting that it was Ouroboros's journal and not He Who Remains' journal.
Was it a
Yes.
journal or was it just the TVA handbook?
I thought it was like handwritten stuff.
I thought that was Kang's handwritten stuff that he added to it because there's a
Oh.
picture of Ouroboros as like the author of the book.
Oh, okay. I didn't pay that much attention then.
I
Okay,
know,
then it
I
was
know.
a book. Okay.
I believe it's just the
Um,
TVA handbook, which has kind of been a through line to this whole season.
mhm.
And
And we hear, yeah,
no, go ahead. Go ahead. What else happens?
we hear that this was a mission entrusted to Miss Minutes by He Who Remains before he died because he knew he was gonna die. And what happens is before he gets the journal, Victor Timely's on the sacred timeline, and then after he gets it, it's specified that this is an alternate timeline.
Right, because giving him this TVA handbook is actually a Nexus event, which branches it off into another timeline, right?
Exactly.
So my question, in which I kind of maybe missed, is: was this young Kang, Victor Timely, was this the He Who Remains, or was this just a different Kang?
I think it was a different one, and this was actually one of my like questions slash theories. I was wondering if he put him there, that like he put him in the sacred timeline, because I always thought Kang was from the future of
Right.
like the 20 like 21st century,
Yeah.
because he's Reed Richards' descendant, right? So
Correct.
my thought was like he picked up one child Kang, like a baby Kang,
Hmm.
and then put him in the sacred timeline and made sure to like protect the sacred timeline because that Kang had a special quality which when he dies he can enact his like backup policy of
Right.
like this minutes journal thing.
That makes sense to me, and I think you're right. In the comic books, Kang is of the future, but does travel through time in different places to hide different places and do different things. So that totally falls in line. I just was it's not super clear, or maybe I like I told you before we recorded. I fell asleep multiple times in this episode, which is another through line for this season for both of us. But I'm still not sure if it's a younger He Who Remains self or if it is a different Kang. But irrelevant, kind of, because it does become a Nexus event, which makes it a Kang variant anyway, right? That branches it off, so it is somebody else in reality, I guess. Which is kind of important for when Sylvie comes later. So okay, let's continue on. He gets the book, which advances his technological know-how greatly and his ability to create and understand whatever this loom is and how it works. But he's trapped in the 1800s, which means he can't really create anything, right? Because he doesn't have the technology and the material to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
And so now I am just so confused. Like, I thought He Who Remained was like, I'm done. Like, I'm sick and tired of this. Like, I'm glad the Lokis are here to take over or kill me, do whatever they want. So then it was kind of weird to me that he has a backup plan to have another Kang take over anyway. But maybe he like thought Loki's would mess it up, so he has a backup plan so that at least the whole Kang war doesn't take over again, maybe. Even though he's dead, he's fine with that. Somebody else can take the reign. I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't surprise me that as a king he would have backups on backups on
Mm-hmm.
backups,
Mm-hmm.
but like I don't quite know what his end goal
End
is.
goal, yeah, fair. Okay, so they give them the book, then they travel to the branch timeline like 25 years later to find him, and this is Renova and Miss Minutes are like, we're gonna take him. Where are they taking him? To the TVA? Like, I don't even understand what they're doing.
I don't know where they would take him. Like they don't seem to have a station or anything.
Yeah, like, what's the plan after they give him the book? It's not clear to me. They're just like, we want him. Obviously, Miss Minutes wants him physically, and Renova wants to lead with him. But like, they have no plan to like take back the TVA or dispose of the Lokis or anything. Nothing comes up as to any game plan whatsoever yet. And so to me, it really lowers the stakes to Snoresville.
Presumably, they want to take over the TVA again. But like in 25 years, this guy wasn't in a place to do that yet. So I don't know what taking him was gonna do.
Right. Yeah. I don't know where they want to take him, what they're doing, yeah. None of that is known. And I guess it doesn't really matter because the Loki and Mobius are also there because they can just track Renova since day one. So there's zero suspense or thrill or any chase whatsoever. They just go to her, find the Kang, and like, oh, there's a Kang. We can just use him to open up the loom so Ouroboros can fix it. We don't need Ravonna or Miss Minutes at all. Let's just focus on the Kang, which is fine because that's more of a pressing matter, I guess.
That's what it was. They didn't think Ravonna had found the Kang. They thought she found Miss Minutes.
Right, and they thought maybe Miss Minutes. Yeah, they thought Miss Minutes had like admin access to maybe open the loom up as well, right? So they were originally looking for Miss Minutes, saw Kang, and were like, okay, that's better. That's a sure thing, right? But then what happens in the show?
Then there's like a kerfuffle. They both want to grab Kang. They run through the fair. They're at the Chicago World's Fair where Kang is pretending to be a genius to swindle people. And they run through the fair and then they end up at the Ferris wheel because Kang uses it to escape some of the rich people that he swindled.
Mm-hmm.
But then Sylvie shows up and tries to kill him because she wants to kill Kangs.
Yeah, because she knows Kangs are what led to all of this, and she doesn't want to get her freedom taken away ever again.
Yeah. She used a beautiful phrase, and I took a screenshot of this.
I like it. I like it.
She called him, sorry.
I did enjoy. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The thief of all free will.
The thief of all free will. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was nice.
So I liked that. But yeah, so she tries to kill him. He escapes with Ravonna and the clock.
Right.
And then they get on a ship or like a ferry to go to Kang's workshop because he's poor and his workshop is not in Chicago. It's in Wisconsin, I think he said.
Yeah, which I think is a throw in to the comics where I think he actually had set up a town there called Timely or something. As I don't know. I don't know that much about it, but I think that was kind of a throw in for that.
I see.
And to maybe have some sort of, oh, this is why Loki doesn't find them immediately. Kind of chase, I guess. I don't know. But anyway.
And it also gives like a moment where Kang or Victor Timely and Ravonna can be alone.
Right.
And
as much as they can with Miss Minutes there.
Yeah, she's like watching like.
It's super creepy, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and Victor is like already falling in love somehow. I guess they're like technically like meant to be, right? So like whichever universe
Yeah.
It is like
As
he
far
would
as I
fall in
know,
love with
yeah,
her.
that's kind of their thing, is they're destined to be together but can never be together kind of thing. So that makes sense that they kind of have this connection, and Miss Minutes is jelly as AF.
Yeah. But then Ravona's like, I look forward to this partnership. I think we can reap good, benefits from it. And he like immediately yanks his hand back and he's like, oh, she does not want me to hit on her.
Yeah, it was a very hard turn of like, oh, this isn't a romantic interest. This is a business partner. And I guess he doesn't feel very good about that because he just throws her into a boat and drops her.
Yeah. Which you just met and you hit on the woman for 10 minutes and you're upset that she only wants a professional relationship.
Yeah, it's a little weird. And also
In the,
gives me cause for concern of like, okay, can this Kang be trusted? Because one, he's been a trickster type character this whole time, showing him scamming people constantly and using all kinds of tricks, and now doesn't trust this person on the Switch. And so it's like, okay, is he leading to like a big old baddie Kang down the road?
yeah,
And also makes me question Sylvie's choice later in the show.
it was very it was very Me Too, especially in the year of the Barbie movie. He just like immediately, oh, if you don't want any of the sugar, then you're not getting anything else. Bye.
Right.
And wishes her. And then literally half an hour later, Miss Minutes flips it on.
Yeah. Yeah, Miss Minutes is like, I just want to be with you. And he's like, that's weird.
Yeah.
She just needs a
And
body. I don't know why she needs a body, but I guess with a body she can do more, I guess. Or because she's just infatuated, she wants to make sweet, sweet love to this man.
probably it I was kind of hoping she like gets the body and like for the rest of the season she stays in the mannequin like an Ultron.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would be the case, but no, she pops back out. Um, I one of my initial idea for this overlay instead of the balloons
With
was to have
mannequins?
a bunch of mannequins and our faces would be in there.
That's
But
pretty
I thought
funny.
like it would be too restricting. We wouldn't be able to move our faces from the
Right.
molds.
No, that's totally fair, but super funny idea, actually. Super funny. Okay. Let's finish this episode, and then we can talk about what we think is going to happen, what we think should have happened, whatever else. They go to his thing. He rejects Ravona. He rejects Miss Minutes. Loki comes. Sylvie comes. Gonna kill him again, and then he says something specifically that she pretty much said in season 1 of being like, I'm different. I have my own heart. I have my own path. You don't know me. Um, Much like her, like she was on her own path. She's not just another Loki, right? And so that strikes a chord with her, and she's like, "All right, I guess I'll let you live," which I don't buy. It's like the first Kang out of the gate. She's determined to kill all Kangs, and the first one she comes across, she's like, oh, "Okay, I'll give it a pass."
Yeah.
That's bad writing as far as I'm concerned, and or bad
And
character work.
it's like imagine having a character, let's call him the God Butcher, and he kills 0 gods.
That's a movie I haven't seen yet, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I agree. It would have been good to see like an episode, or maybe even like an end credits scene where she, or like end credits scene of episode 1, she kills a Kang. End credits scene of episode 2, she
Something.
kills another Kang.
Yeah.
And then in episode 3, she finally sees like Oh, there might be another way.
Yeah, she finally sees the error of, oh, I'm doing exactly what the TVA was doing, which was pruning off variants.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the TVA, which is why I didn't go to the TVA. That makes sense. Oh, Lord, that's on my face. My apologies.
Oh, Task Daddy Gaming. Hello. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, baby.
For those who don't know, we are filming this live on Twitch, and we just got rated by Pathfinder Gaming. Go follow him on YouTube and or Twitch. He's great, great people. But anyway, back to the conversation. It just seems like, okay, everything in this season for me is circular, Ouroboros being the through line of that. So yeah, Sylvie is in this circle of, oh, I am the TVA, but didn't have any circle. She just got from point A to point B, immediately realizing that's what she was doing without ever doing it. So I hate that. There's no time to develop that. Instead, they're eating pie and fair food instead of developing characters' arcs and spending time on actually making an interesting story for each character. So that I hated. So she doesn't kill him, and so they're going to take him, Kang, to the TVA so he can meet his biggest fan, Ouroboros, and that'll be episode 4. And then at the end of the episode, Sylvie loves kicking people through doors. She kicks, what's her name? Renslayer to Kang's He Who Remains domain where he's dead in his throne. Miss Minutes is there and she's like, well, I know things about you that'll make you angry. You want to team up there? Cuz? I don't know. She said something like that along the lines, and we're left wondering, okay, who's actually going to be the bad guy in this season? Because it's halfway through and they haven't actually set anything up yet. Is that accurate to the episode?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so where do you see it going, or what do you want to see happen? Or what did you hate or love about anything in that spiel about the episode that I just said? Because I'm already hot about it, because, obviously.
It's tough. Like, honestly, Sylvie realizing that she's doing the same thing is good. But you're, like, as you said, it wasn't earned. Like, she didn't do the opposite yet. I don't know if that's because they want to, like, they don't want to have irredeemable characters down the line. But that's too, like, Disney of them. Like, have her kill people.
Right. Right.
And then I'm going to disagree. I do feel like they're hinting that Miss Minutes and Ravonna are the villains. But as you said, like, from your point of view, it's not, like, properly set up. It's kind of a hint.
Yeah.
And this is episode 3, and this is the first time we've seen them.
Yeah, it's halfway through the season, and they are now just determining or letting us know that they are going to be the villain instead of setting that up from day one.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel more that Miss Minutes is going to be the villain and throw Ravonna right under the bus. And that'll lead to the Kang Ravonna never being able to be together kind of thing, I think. Somehow. And I feel Timely is going to be pretty much a nothing burger for the rest of the season. I feel he's just going to be besties with Ouroboros, and they're going to fix the loom, while Loki and Mobius have to stop the other two, Miss Minutes and What's Her Nuts.
Do you think we'll see any further Kangs?
Maybe at the end of the last episode. As like, hey, guess what? There's more. We didn't show you anything this season, but there's more, so stick around.
So it's not like a Kang of the Week thing, you don't think?
I don't think so. I mean, it could be. Sure, it could be. But I don't think so. I think Victor is the Kang that's going to become the big baddie Kang, but not going to be that anywhere in this season
Mm.
or anything like that. Because I feel he's already super shifty, can't be trusted already, so he's just going to bide his time until he can just take over somehow, right? Or trick his way into power. That's my
So
guess, but I don't know. Again, they're not giving us a lot to go with.
two questions of that.
Yeah.
Well, initially, so you're saying this is like the Kang that's gonna be the villain of the movies of like Kang Dynasty
I
and
think so.
Secret
Yeah.
Wars?
Yeah. I think that's kind
Okay.
of where they're leading here.
So my two questions are: do you think, and this is more like outside the story,
Yeah.
do you think they would introduce their big bad in a Disney Plus show?
Why not? I mean, they introduced Kang already in
That's true.
in the
Yeah, he
first
came
season.
in Loki season 1. That's true.
So why not this be the one? Why not?
Okay.
I think
And
they're
then
I think they're lazy enough to do that.
that makes sense. Second question: do you think they're gonna commit to Jonathan Majors yet?
I think they've already committed to Jonathan Majors.
Well, with like the controversy and like I don't know what, like, it's alleged, it's not certain yet. I would imagine they might want to like leave the door open.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't know. I guess one, I don't know enough about the controversy because I'm like, I don't care enough
Yeah.
about MCU right now. Um, I'm sure they always have an out. They've recast in the past. Is this a
Mhm.
huge recast for them because he's been Kang in variants in so much already? Yes. I think that is a big switch. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I feel they're going to commit to it until something drastic has to happen.
Okay. I saw a theory online. I,
Okay.
I don't know if you want to hear it though.
Sure, why not? I don't care.
Okay. I saw a theory that Ravonna was a Kang variant.
Yeah, okay. I don't I hope not. One, because that changes the comics drastically, which MCU does change the comics to the MCU, which is fine. But I feel that's like too strong of a change. And they've already kind of set up that they're not together and can't be together because of the recording that was in the first episode or something that Loki hears being like, Ravonna's like, hey, this is going to be great. We're going to work together. And it never happens, obviously, because it never happened. And then two, they have their meeting, which they have some chemistry, and then it's immediately shut down. I just don't feel like. I just don't feel. And the other thing is, like, wouldn't Miss Minutes be hot and heavy for her? Like, Miss Minutes would know, right? Wouldn't she?
And maybe she just likes the Jonathan Majors face. Like, what if
It's all
what
physical.
if
It's
you
all physical for that clock.
like if you like Tobey Maguire, do you also have to like the Andrew Garfield and the Tom Holland Spider-Man or Peters?
I guess not, but I mean it's all a weird question to me. To me, it's like, okay. At this point, there has been obviously different casts for different of the same characters, but we haven't seen that with Kang yet. And they've specifically gone out of their way to make Jonathan Majors all Kang. So will they do that? I don't know. Is it a weird out of left field thing? I think it's too out of left field for
Okay.
people to be like, oh, that's great storytelling. It'd be like, well, that's freaking weird. Why didn't she just take over? If she's a Kang,
I mean,
think
she may not know it.
I know she got her memory wiped, right? But they went back into the past to show her in a different time, like her timeline, right? Where she wasn't a Kang, she was her. So it doesn't make sense that she would be a Kang from that alone, I feel.
Well, I mean, we saw Victor Timely in the 1800s instead of like the 3000s.
Right. So you think Kang was like, all right, this Kang I'm going to wipe, then I'm going to pretend I pluck them off the timeline at this, so I'll plant them there with different memories embedded in them. And then I'll use this wiped one as my servant of the TVA and just keep them at arm's reach so they always want more, but they'll do my dirty work for me. It just seems so convoluted to be like, how are they going to explain that in a good way and not have people like me just groaning in the audience? Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it was a theory, and I feel like they could do it. One thing was like last season when Sylvie and Loki fell in love. Do you remember it like lit up the timeline graphic, whatever?
Right, it was weird, yeah.
So it was like it was an event with magnitude. What if like that's why they can't be together, because they're the same person?
But can they be together?
But you said they're destined not to be together.
Again, that's just in the comics. MCU could change that. In the comics, they're different people. But like, can Loki and Sylvie be together?
We don't know.
We don't know. I actually liked the idea of Loki and Sylvie falling in love with each other, because Lokis typically are self-obsessed, so it was kind of a fun play on that characteristic. But I don't know. That's kind of as far as that went for me, but I thought it was like a fun idea. This theory is like possible. I just don't think it's good writing, but that hasn't stopped them from producing this whole season so far. So it's probably the answer.
I'm not putting a judgment on it right now, and I'm not saying I like it or dislike it, but I can totally see them doing it.
Right, yeah. You found it an interesting enough to be a viable thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you think, we have 3 episodes left. What do you think is going to happen in each of the 3 episodes? If you were to guess. I want to predict the ending of Loki Season 2 right here and now, if possible.
Okay.
Because we're halfway through, and we've learned almost nothing. So
yeah,
it's wide open. But all we know for sure before you start, and I'm looking forward to it, all we know for sure in the next 3 episodes, very little will happen. Okay, go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say. Based on the first half and nothing having happened, I think the second half looks to be that way as well. Also because they haven't really set up much. All I know is the rotting scene in the TVA's future.
Right, okay. That's going to happen. Good.
My theory is that is the end of episode 5.
End of 5 or end of 6?
I think that's the end of 5.
Okay, so we're all caught up to the circle at end of 5. We have one more episode of what's happening next.
Yeah, 6 is what's happening, who's calling. Like,
right. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm down with that. I like that assessment. So what happens next episode?
Next episode, they're going to waste time in the TVA again. It's going to be more of a cheaper episode. A lot of time in the bunker room where like Ouroboros and Victor Timely try to fix things.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna send Loki and Mobius on errands to find little MacGuffins.
Okay.
To help fix them.
I can totally see that. Yes, a garbage episode of them fixing the loom, and maybe a little touch on Miss Minutes telling, or maybe we won't know what Ravonna is told by Miss Minutes, but maybe starting their little like, okay, how are we gonna get them kind of thing. That's totally the next episode. We've called it. I can sleep through it, and we can do this next week without me ever watching it. Okay, and then so episode 5 is Loki coming full circle with himself. Are you still thinking Loki's pruning himself? I agree. I still am in that. But what are they doing? Because Sylvie's there and she had no interest in being there. She still, as far as I know, has no interest in being there.
Yes, but she's like, she seems to desperately be looking for Loki, because when the door opens and she sees the other, like the time slipping Loki, she says, "Oh, there you are," because she probably thinks he's the Loki
that's
that
in that time
that came with her.
Right. So I guess we don't know is why she's there, aside from maybe keeping a watchful eye on Victor. Maybe he goes missing. Maybe Miss Minutes gets a hold of him. Who knows? And so they're like trying to find him. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just not sure where that quite connects because they haven't given us anything.
Yeah.
And then episode 6 is what?
What could it be? Do you think the loom is gonna explode?
I think they fix the loom. I think they fix it.
Okay.
He's already got the loom expander in his notebook. He already drew it up. For some reason, he already had a reason to create it, even though he has no idea why it would ever need to be that way. Like, there's zero explanation to why he's already created this prototype for a loom expander to allow for more branches. There's zero reason for him to have it, but he's already got it done. So that's just us, pushing the story along so we can eat more pie. That's my thought. But hopefully next episode, it's at least more Ouroboros and timely chatting, because I can always use some more Ouroboros. And they can share pie all day for all I care. But yeah, I don't know. I think they fix it, and I think either they have to stop Miss Minutes and Renova. What's her name? Ravonna? I can't. Ravonna gets away or dies is my guess.
Oh.
So either Miss Minutes gets away, or Ravonna gets away, or dies. Somebody has to die. For the love of everything holy, please let somebody die. Mobius, please let Mobius die. Kill somebody. Please kill somebody.
I feel like Sylvie could easily die.
Yeah, I'd accept Sylvie dying at this point because she already just sucks at doing her job.
Like, what would be the conflict of an episode 6?
There has to be a big battle, because that's the only way any superhero movie knows how to put anything together. At the very end, you need a big super CGI fight for no reason. So Miss Minutes is going to get a body. They're going to fight. Sylvie's going to eat it. Mobius is going to eat it. Somebody's going to eat it by the hand of Minutes. And that'll be it. And then it'll like cut to Victor Timely whispering into Ouroboros' ears, "Let's take back the TVA." And that'll be it. That's it. That's season 2 Loki right there for you.
I can see Ouroboros turning or having been evil and suppressed something or
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, here's the thing: is like I don't know if Ouroboros. He feels like the and that would be a good twist is if he is somehow totally dark and evil. But like to me, he just comes across as like the most wholesome character ever to hit the screen. But he'll do anything to keep the loom going, and if that means working for some corrupt Kang, so be it. If it's for the betterment of the loom and the timeline. I think that's his whole purpose is to like I am the machinist to keep this thing well lubed and just slick as a whistle.
Mhm.
But if there's something darker there, I'm down for that too because I would love to see Ouroboros just going batshit crazy as well. He's the only interesting character for me this whole season so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anybody else.
Yeah. And chat mentioned in Twitch here that Ouroboros is the only one that we know of that has never been mind wiped. And that's
Well,
why, or that we know of, or he's told us, because he's been around for hundreds of years, he said, and he knows everybody,
but
but nobody remembers him.
but we don't know that it's never. He might have been
True.
time wiped,
Yes.
placed there, and then forgotten about.
Correct. And I assume he got time wiped the first time because he had to get plucked out of some timeline, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but as far as we know, he's just worked here forever and never had to be wiped because he's only by himself down in the dungeon just doing his job. He's the guy, he's always reliable, he's just doing his job. So to me, it makes more sense that he will just continue to do that in his happy little go lucky way. But I guess that brings up the one maybe question of will he know who Kang is when he sees him?
Hmm,
Because in theory, Kang built all of this, and he's never really talked about it, which is kind of odd. So I don't know.
interesting.
Yeah. We'll find out. I don't know. I'm thinking we're gonna get less answers than we ever want, and I will snooze through most of the next episodes. What do you think, Benny?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get answers to questions we didn't ask and like that were never in our minds. But like the questions we're asking right now are never getting answered. And I'm I'd be happy if they surprise me.
I would be happy if they surprised me as well. I would also be happy if they ever learned how to correctly pace a TV series. So far, Disney is not good at pacing these at all. As far I don't know. As far as like this what high quality television series are out there that have such good character driven stories and great arcs. Marvel TV series just are not up to the bar. Not even close. And it's only because of the IP that I'm even slightly interested in watching it. It just isn't that it just isn't there for me. And I want it to be so bad.
Yeah, I don't know why they've been so unsuccessful in TV shows because like the old Marvel TV division was doing okay. Like people liked those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Or
And
people like Agents of Shield.
yeah, and it's not like they don't have near unlimited resources to get the best writers, directors, producers to get the job done. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's always it comes back to the quantity over quality thing, and they got their fingers in everything, and it's biting them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
I ever wanted. Oh,
all you
sorry.
what? No, no. Go ahead. What's all you ever wanted?
All I ever wanted was an office or Parks and Rec style like workplace mockumentary where it's Valkyrie trying to manage New Asgard, and she just wants to blow her brains out because it's menial.
That's super funny. And you could totally get away with that in the TVA as well. Loki takes over the TVA and just hates his life.
But it has to be a mockumentary. Like,
Oh, 100%. Otherwise,
they
it
need to
doesn't
look at the
play.
camera. They need to have the confessional interviews.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. That's a funny idea. Overall, I'm sure I was going to talk about so many other things, but there's just so many things to talk about, and yet so little to watch here in this season for me. So it's just we can only talk in circles for so long. Just like this whole season is based in circles. So yeah, I just
like this Ferris wheel over here.
yeah, exactly. Everything in this season is about wheels, circles, going around and around, and that's why I feel strongly that we're going to get 0 place by the end of this season.
Sure.
Yeah. So with that, Benny, do you have anything else to add?
Not really. All I gotta say is, for all time.
Always